Well, hello. Today is harvesting the garlic day. Let's call it part one. Garlic, when you grow it, so if you've been following along in my videos, I have other videos out there, you've seen them. I start by planting my garlic. I'm in zone 5B in southeastern Iowa, and I start by planting my garlic, which most people do in the fall. That's because whether you're planting softneck or hardneck, it gives it a head start, gets some roots going before winter, and then in spring it's ready just to get going and go. So the tricky part is, when do you harvest it? We've already taken the scapes off. That we did kind of in spring, mid-spring, when they came out and they started curling. But now, how do you know when to harvest it? And that's kind of the tricky part. So the first general rule is when you see a lot of brown and yellowing. You're seeing a lot of brown and yellowing. You also can know by the time of year. It's usually at the earliest, late June, otherwise into July, early, mid-July. So what you wanna watch for is how they look. So the best way to check is to start and dig one up. So I use a fork. You can use, if you think you got a spade that goes well, you can do that. Just kind of whatever works for you. The thing is, you just wanna be able to not necessarily puncture the bulbs, obviously, but get a nice, healthy bulb. Now, I have these in raised beds, and you know that means that my soil is pretty easy to just pull up. Now, we've been getting a lot of rain. Usually I would say I would like them to be slightly drier because that dirt is gonna stick to them quite a bit. But as I'm peeling away that dirt, oh, and an earthworm, how nice. You're gonna see some nice husk forming. It's like when you buy garlic or when you have garlic and it's dry and it's in the kitchen, you're using it. You obviously wanna pick it and you wanna take off the husk. That's how we get the cloves out of the garlic. So when you see those nice husks forming on here, you know it's ready to go. If it's too far or you've waited too long, this bulb is gonna actually start opening up. The cloves are gonna be separating because what they'll try to do is regrow. They'll all send out individual shoots, those green shoots, and they'll try to start regrowing. You don't want that. So you wanna hit that sweet spot in between. So I like to say when on all the leaves all over, about a third of the way down on all of them, they're getting brown and dried up. That's usually a good indicator that it's ready to pick. Now, I choose hardneck garlic, and I've talked about this before. I like hardneck because I think it has more flavor nuances. It can have just like a better flavor or more deeper flavor, and there's more different types of them. The one drawback of hardneck, it does not last as long in your kitchen. So I'm gonna harvest this. It doesn't necessarily always last all winter. Softneck has a longer life, so you can grow softneck for that. But I'm gonna start harvesting this. We're gonna talk about curing because we're not just done when we harvest this. That's why I said this is part one. Instead, there's gonna be a part two. So we're gonna keep pulling it out. Now, if you can just literally pull them out. You know, it depends what your kind of season you're having. If it's really dry, usually here in July, I'm gonna be really dry. But this year, it's wet. So you gotta pick it when you have a chance because we're getting rain all the time. But what you notice is, this is a beautiful head of garlic, and this is what I look for. It's bigger, it's nicer. And you know why I like growing my own? Every year you pick the biggest, nicest heads with the biggest individual cloves, and that's what we're gonna replant this fall, so you get even bigger and better bulbs of garlic next year. That's to me the exciting part. So I'm gonna keep pulling these out. We're gonna keep digging them out if we need to, whatever we need to do. And we're gonna talk about, what do you do next? That's a smaller one, but we'll use it in the kitchen right away. It's okay, it's fresh homegrown garlic. Obviously, I plant a lot of garlic, so I have quite a few piles here. But once it comes out, you're not done. Now, you can use it right away in the kitchen, it's fresh garlic. But to store it, you wanna do what's called cure it. If you don't cure it, it may not last as long because it can, harbor moisture. It can actually start eating away at it. So you wanna let it cure where it actually kind of hardens off, dries out, just like you would do with any kind of fall vegetable you would get in, like sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, squash, pumpkins, all those need to cure. So, welcome to the farm and what we do here. We have old screens from the old windows when there used to be screens and storm windows. And what we do now with these is, I'm just laying this out here because this is a good place to lay it across. But we take these and they act as a nice screen to be able to put things like onions and garlic. So I'm gonna lay all my garlic out. And what this is gonna help me do is have good air circulation. The screen underneath will let it pass through. And then what we're gonna do once we have it laid out is put it in a somewhat cool, as cool as you can get. It's gonna go in a dark place, which for me is inside my garden shed. The best temperature would be between like 70, 85 degrees if you could do that. I can't control the weather, so no, it gets hotter sometimes than that in the shed. But what that's gonna do is for a few weeks, it's gonna let it really dry out. You don't wanna cut the tops off yet. You don't wanna cut back all these stems because you wanna let them fully cure on their own. If you cut them, it will start oozing out excess moisture and water that it's retaining, and that's not how you want it to let that leave. Instead, you want it to leave naturally. So we're gonna spread them out. I have a few of these screens, and then we're gonna put them in the shed, and that's how they're gonna cure. Now, I don't expect all you to have screens. You can also buy some too, but if this is your first time planting garlic, you're not gonna wanna go out and invest in all these things. So, a great thing to do instead is tie maybe 5 or 10 together with just some natural jute twine or something. You can tie them here at the top and then hang them in a dark place. So like in a shed, in a garden shed, in a garage would work. Hang them up and let them dry like this. That's kind of the more traditional way and what some people do. I like to lay them out because I have these screens and it makes it quick and easy for me. But if you don't have them, hang them up, let them dry. So once they dry, you know, in a few weeks, we're gonna pull them out. We're gonna do a video on it so you can see, but we'll cut them off, we'll trim them, we'll make them look better. But until then, you lay them out, you let them dry. Now guys, this seems like a few videos, but that's because I'm showing you real time. I'm showing you as it happens, what's happening, so you can do it on your own when you wanna do it. So I'm gonna now finish laying these out, put them on more screens. I'm gonna take it inside, let it get nice and dry, and then we're gonna finish up. So what do I hope you do? I hope you share this around. Why? Because it helps everyone out. Yeah, it helps me, but it helps everyone see this stuff is doable, this stuff is easy. You can plant 5 bulbs of garlic. You can plant multiple like I do. I don't wanna count them because then it just sounds like a lot. It's whatever you want, it can work for you, and it is easy and it is fun. Growing garlic is the easiest, most rewarding thing you can do if you like garlic. If you don't, let's talk. So share it around, check my website, wiseguy.com for tips, for tricks, how-tos, whatever you need, along with all my recipes. Until then, I'm gonna keep working on my garlic because I got a few to go through.